I've got another story here. When we first went over on the first trip, I was a machine gunner for mortars, and we'd done a bit of a beach landing at Vung Tau, and then flown by plane up to Benoit airstrip, and loaded onto trucks, and we were looking for barracks or buildings that we were going to live in, but the trucks drove us off to the north side of the airstrip out into this swamp, and there's about 2 or 3 inches of water all over the ground, and we kept getting bogged and be all off the truck and push. This went on for a little bit, but we only went about probably 500 yards, and the truck stopped, and Bevan Stokes, our sergeant, we called him Punchy, he came over to me and he said, "Okay, Bergie, bring your gun over here." So I went over with Steve Jones, Tom Jones we called him. He was my number 2 on the gun. His job was to help me with carrying the spare barrel and ammunition and the changing of a barrel if the barrel got too hot. But anyway, to get on with the story, we looked at the area that we went to was, as I say, 2 inches of water all over the place, and a long grass, and I put the gun down, but I had to put my pack under it to put the gun on, so the gun didn't get wet. And Tom he got his machete out and started cutting the grass around to clear an area for our 2-man tent that we had to sleep in. And while he done that, I, using a machete, cleared an area to start digging a gun pit. But as fast as I dug, it just filled up with water. But anyway, I had to keep trying and kept filling with water. And Tom had cleared the space to put our tent up, but he dug a trench around the outside of it. But the trench, of course, filled with water as well. And, we set up the 2-man tents, and, by that time it was night, and we just had we had little blow-up mattress things, and we put them in there, and they were virtually floating for a start, but we done our best. We just, it wasn't cold, it was hot all the time, about 115, 120 degrees Fahrenheit. And we just set ourselves up in the tent with a bit of a bunk, but you didn't need blankets or anything. It was just, as I say, it was stinking hot, and we were wet anyway, so it didn't make any difference. And we went on like that for a couple of weeks till we sort of got acclimatised. Then we went out on an operation, and our first operation was to escort these American trucks back from where they'd been out and had a contact with the enemy, and found rice and ammunition, etc. And they had a bit of a firefight and with the enemy. And we went out and escorted the trucks back. But on the way, we just barely left the area. Our truck was ambushed from the side, and the drivers, the two young drivers jumped out. The truck was only just barely moving, but we were over the side and whatever, and in behind this bit of a bank. And it was only minutes, and there's American half track, so like a small tank, pulled in all around us and blasted hell out of the scrub. And we heard later I think they brought about 17 bodies or something out of there, but we decided then that we'd go on separately onto different trucks. And Tom and myself with the machine gun, we were on top of one of the lead trucks, just laying on the canvas up on the top, and had the gun set up there. And there were rifle company guys clearing along the sides of the road as well as we made our way back. When we got back to base, the engineers had put up 4-man tents. Now, they'd only just put them up. There was no sandbagging around them or anything like that. And they had dug our gun pit and made it the way that the water was running away, and they made these drains, dug these deeper drains that took a lot of the water away. But to get on with the story, the first night we decided that we had to do gun picket on the machine gun, and that involved the whole section, which was 9 of us, and it was pouring rain, and I just said to the guys, well, you know, we're going to be in these tents here, so we'll do the gun picket from inside the tent, and just us 4. We'll take it in turns all night. The other blokes can have a bit of a spell, and we can man the gun all night. And anyway, inside the tents, they'd put these 4 stretchers down about a foot high off the ground, and in the corner there were 4 sticks, 1 in each corner, and over that we had mosquito nets thrown over the top. So with the gun in the doorway, we set ourselves up. I was at the back of the tent, and Tom was opposite me, and then Mick Chevers was to my right-hand side towards the opening in the tent, the flap, and Teddy Nudry was opposite him, and we took it in turns, an hour or so on the gun, and then have a bit of a sleep, and etc. And just the 4 of us taking in turns. But about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, I heard this yelling and whatever, and it was coming from Tom. I knew that. It was pitch dark, you couldn't see at all. It was just a bit light in the doorway, and that was about it, a bit paler. But it was pitch dark. Teddy Nudry was on the gun, And I pulled my pistol out and cocked it, and I heard the other blokes cock their rifles. And I just said, because the only thing you could see was the doorway, I said, don't anybody try and go out the door because you'll get shot. Ted jumped up, realising that Tom was having a nightmare, stepped over to where his stretcher was, which was only a couple of yards from the gun, and reached down to wake Tom up. But as he reached down, he sort of took the mosquito net down with him. And of course, Tom woke up thinking that he was being attacked by an enemy. So they got into a wrestle and fight. And it was fairly loud too. And all I could think of was to keep saying, don't anybody try and go out the door. Because I knew that every gun would be aimed at our tent. Because we would have woke plenty of people up, and that there was a big 50 shell machine gun not far up from us, and I actually heard its cock. So I knew it would be aimed at our tent as well. You know, it didn't take long, I suppose. It seemed a while, but Tom and Ted worked out between them what was happening, and Ted was only waking him up and he was having a nightmare, etc. And I think it was Ted was saying it. And when Tom realised it and woke up properly, well, it stopped. And we had a bit of a yarn about it, and I suppose it would have been about half an hour later. Our Sergeant Despunty Stokes came down, and from outside, probably about 5 or 10 yards away, he called out, is everything okay in there? And to which I answered yes. Tom had a nightmare, and but all okay. Anyway, it wasn't funny at the time, but we had a good laugh about it the next day.